Tonight, a sex offender rearrested, a mother in anguish.
This is so unfair to Amanda, my daughter. She was a child and her life was cut short because of him.
The man responsible for a teen's death in Puslinch is back in custody. Watching the water in Guelph.
It does take a long time, establishing a new water source, especially in a groundwater environment.
The Royal City's plan to have enough for its future. Plus,
Kone driving forward, played through towards Kyle Laren! It's Kyle Laren with the goal!
Team Canada's turn. World Cup fever in Waterloo Region and across the country hits a new level. Good evening. A registered sex offender responsible for the death of a teen at a party on Puslinch Lake has been arrested in Hamilton, days after he disappeared from the halfway house in Montreal where he was supposed to be living. Christopher Watts has repeatedly breached conditions of his release in the decade since he completed his sentence. And this latest one has the mother of his victim speaking out, saying something has to change. Now, we should note this report does contain descriptions of the crime as presented in court, and some may find these details disturbing. CTV's Krista Simpson here now with the very latest details on this case. Krista, you had a chance to meet with Amanda Raymond's mother earlier today.
Tony, she says the family can't move forward when they are continually hearing of Watts being released and then rearrested for not following the terms imposed on him. And this latest incident, coming just a short time before the anniversary of Raymond's death, is especially painful and has led to a call for change so this doesn't keep happening. It's been nearly 25 years since Amanda Raymond died while attending a party on Puslinch Lake. She was just a few weeks shy of her 14th birthday. Christopher Watts was convicted of manslaughter, sexual assault, and sexual interference in her death.
This is so unfair to Amanda, my daughter. She was a child and her life was cut short because of him.
Court heard Watts gave Raymond drugs that put her in a coma, then refused to let anyone call for help. He sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious, wrote obscene words on her body, and took photos and video. Watts completed his 12-year prison sentence in 2015, but he remains under a long-term supervision order that puts a number of restrictions on him. He's been arrested on multiple occasions and has been convicted of breaches 3 times.
I just don't know what to say anymore, but it's causing such anguish at this point. Again and again and again and again.
Most recently, Watts was released from custody on May 28th. He reported to a halfway house in Montreal, where he was supposed to reside, but later escaped. On June 4th, a Canada-wide warrant was issued for his arrest, police in Montreal putting out these photos. On Tuesday, Halton police found a vehicle registered to Watts at LaSalle Park in Burlington. Police say Watts was surveilled and arrested that evening in Hamilton. Scarily close, says Raymond's mother.
He needs to be shut down. He needs to be punished at this point because he was too close to home, too close for comfort.
Halton police are now trying to figure out what Watts was doing during the 5 days between his escape and arrest, asking the public for any information they can provide. Watts is a registered sex offender. Parole Board of Canada documents outline how a judge described him as a career criminal and a cunning and voracious sexual predator who appeared defiant and without guilt or remorse.
We don't want to be his victim anymore, but each time he pops up, you feel like a victim.
This latest incident happening just as the family was preparing to mark 25 years since Raymond's passing. Her mother says it's time to change the system that keeps allowing Watts to be released.
Amanda's gone. You took my child. And this is what we have been having to deal with for 25 years now. How are we supposed to move forward if the system won't give us that opportunity to move forward?
Teresa Trupp would like to see Watts face a 10-year sentence for repeatedly not following orders. She says it would help not only the family, but also let her daughter Amanda have some peace.
I mean, how do you rest knowing that the man that hurt you is just out there getting away with stuff?
As of now, Watts is scheduled to remain under the supervision of Correctional Services Canada until June 2029. We have more details on some of the breaches of his long-term supervision order as outlined in Parole Board of Canada documents over on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Krista Simpson with new reporting for us on that case. Krista, thank you. We are learning more tonight about the Toronto police officer who was shot and killed during the execution of a search warrant yesterday. CTV's Beth McDonnell has that story.
Forensic investigators with Toronto Police and the Special Investigations Unit combed the scene inside the North York residential tower. One day after 43-year-old Toronto Police Constable Mark Pinizzato was shot and killed in the line of duty. On Facebook, his mother Linda writing in a post, "Mark is one of my extraordinary sons, our hero," calling him an incredible father, son, husband, coach, and friend of many. His devastating passing, the cruel heartbreak of reality, has brought us to our knees. He idolized our whole family. Our Mark was a dedicated ETF police officer who worked relentlessly, determined to safeguard us around the clock. Mark is our beacon of hope, guiding us with his message to bring an end to violence. Beyond his job as a highly skilled officer, an 18-year veteran of the service, the father of 14-year-old twins was also an accomplished hockey player who played professionally in Europe and, over the past decade, was heavily involved in teaching young people the sport. The Oakville Rangers Hockey Club writing on its website, the organization is mourning the loss of a remarkable man who meant so much to so many, adding, "For the young athletes he coached, Mark was someone they looked up to, trusted, and learned from. He cared deeply about every player and was committed to helping them grow not only as athletes, but as people. He invested his time freely, shared his knowledge, and led with kindness, patience, and integrity. The example he set will remain with his players for the rest of their lives." Early Thursday morning, Pinizzato took part in a raid executing a search warrant on Martha Eaton Way near Black Creek and Trethewey Drives. The SIU says when he entered a fourth-floor unit, a suspect shot him before another officer fired back at the suspect multiple times. He is still in hospital in critical condition, and police say 19-year-old Nicholas Bennett will be charged with first-degree murder. Police are looking for another suspect, 19-year-old Zara Jabi. Officers have linked him to the larger investigation that brought officers to the building, which they say is connected to the shooting at the U.S. consulate. Destin Bujang with the Black Creek Youth Initiative says he works with families who recognize Jabi.
He's a 19-year-old in the community like any other 19-year-old. He's a normal young man who rides a bicycle and plays with his friends. They say we went to school with him. We have seen him around, and it's scary if your classmate that you went to school with was on the headlines.
He says condolences go out to Pinizzato's colleagues and loved ones. Bujang also says it's important to ask how the community got to this point because there is a huge gap in access to resources and opportunities. Since the raid, he says people here are experiencing a range of emotions, from fear to sadness and confusion. And the priority now is to make sure young people feel seen and have trauma-sensitive spaces to express themselves. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Meanwhile, dozens of first responders came out to pay their respects today to OPP Constable Taryn Bali as his body was transported to a Thornhill funeral home. The Brampton native was killed earlier this week in Northern Ontario, and as we've reported, he was also a former member of Kitchener's bylaw enforcement team. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Under a billowing Canadian flag, first responders lined the roadway outside the Chief Coroner's office early this morning. A show of unwavering support and respect for a fallen officer and his family. A solid blue line saluting the Ontario Provincial Police motorcade escorting the body of Constable Taryn Bali to its final resting place.
It feels heavy, but we sincerely appreciate the support that has been shown by members of the community, our other police services that are here, first responders. It goes a long way in helping us as we grieve and mourn.
The 29-year-old was killed over the noon hour Tuesday, struck while trying to stop a vehicle in Hearst, Ontario, some 9.5 hours northwest of Toronto. The vehicle that struck Constable Bali was allegedly driven by an 18-year-old who'd fled from a hospital where he was being assessed under the authority of the Mental Health Act. Constable Bally, who originally hailed from Brampton, was a rookie police officer with just 2.5 years on the job. He'd volunteered for a deployment with the James Bay Detachment in Northern Ontario to help with a staffing shortage when he was killed.
I'm not angry, no. I'm so proud. I'm so proud to what he did for the community.
Sanjeet Sandhu says she's known Officer Bally since they were classmates.
We grew up together, and I'm just trying to find my way to be there and to meet him, to see him for the last time.
Sandhu joined others from the community today outside the Kane Jarrett Funeral Home in Thornhill to say farewell to her fallen friend.
He was so full of life, and I cannot imagine him in that van. It's so hard.
Others who didn't know Constable Bally at all also came to show their respect.
Well, they put their lives in jeopardy for us, so we need to come and support them and show that we do appreciate what they do.
Solidarity, and to let them know that they're not alone and we appreciate everything that they do for us.
18-year-old Justin Verano was in court on Wednesday to face charges including first-degree murder, dangerous driving, assaulting a police officer, and flight from police. He'll be next in court on June 24th. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Well, 7 people have been injured, 2 of them critically, after a vehicle went through the wall of a fitness center in London. One of the injured was trapped under the vehicle. CTV's Jerry Dewan brings us more on the incident and the investigation.
Witnesses say a group of about 30 women were starting a new fitness class at the Sherwood Forest Mall Good Life Fitness when a Jeep Wrangler came crashing through the wall. Bernice Bishop was in that class.
The room exploded and everything flew, glass, bricks from the wall, and then we all looked around and there's a vehicle inside the building, and it hit some of the gals from the class.
One of those classmates was trapped under the vehicle. Police say the 7 injured included the driver. 1 person is in critical condition, another in serious condition, and 5 others in fair condition. Bishop is hoping her injured classmates are able to fully recover.
Our prayers go with them as they recover, but why someone did that, I have no idea.
Ma Hyun operates a nail salon inside Sherwood Forest Mall. She arrived at the mall around 7:30 and as she was walking from her car, noticed a woman in a blue Jeep talking on her cell phone. The woman was parked about 50 meters from the wall.
When we park my car there, we walk about here, and I hear she go straight the building.
Yeah. She's going fast.
Yeah, she goes really fast.
London Police Chief Tai Trong held a news conference in the afternoon. When asked about whether there was intent, he only said,
"So what I can confirm with you is that we have evidence and we have information that the vehicle accelerated into the building."
One social media post showed Good Life staff and other concerned citizens giving aid to the victims as first responders arrived. Those first responders are being credited for their quick actions on what was already a very busy morning.
We actually have had a couple incidents in the city that are draining our resources. So to see the response and the support from the law enforcement and our medical emergency people, amazing.
London Fire helped to secure the wall. The vehicle remained inside Good Life as the investigation was ongoing. They'll then have to devise a way to remove the Wrangler. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Okay, it's time for a first look at the weather on this Friday. Let's head over to Alexandra Hollick joining us on weather duties this evening. Good to have you back in studio with us once again, getting to deliver some very good news today.
I was going to say, when you saw me a couple days ago, I didn't have the best news. Muggy weather was on the way, but that has since cleared out, and we are on our way to a nice weekend, Tony.
It was almost as if a switch was flipped this afternoon. I opened the patio door mid-afternoon and things just felt a lot fresher with that breeze beginning to blow in.
Absolutely, and that humidity, you're going to notice it's trickling down, and we're going to have a cooler and comfortable start to next week. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what we're seeing right now. So as you can see, clear skies. Any clouds that we saw earlier today have since cleared out, and it is paving the way for a very nice Saturday, again with some clear skies. Tomorrow evening, though, we may see some sprinkles of showers or clouds. More details coming up on that. Right now, we're sitting at 24 degrees, a very comfortable 24 degrees in Waterloo Region. Some westerly winds coming in at 24 kilometers an hour. As far as other temperatures go across southern Ontario, much of the same, those mid-20s, mid to low 20s there too. But I'll have more details as to what we can expect coming up. Tony.
Okay, Alexandra, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Played through towards Kyle Larry! It's Kyle Larry
Well, history was made today at Toronto Stadium as Canada hosted its first ever FIFA World Cup game. And the home team secured a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Bosnia-Herzegovina. It was a historic moment for fans who had tickets to today's game right there at Toronto Stadium. In fact, there were fans from all across the country and even around the world packing into the stadium for this afternoon's match. CTV's Rahim Ladani is there and spoke with some excited fans.
It's an energy that cannot be replicated.
Let's go!
People traveling from across Ontario, North America, and around the world.
Woodstock, Ontario! From Nepal. Flew up from New York this morning.
Coming together for this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
The first time the World Cup is in Toronto, so we had to show up and represent and be proud of our country.
Team Canada on the world stage is even more special for Robin, because her daughter's father is Jacob Schaufelberg, a member of this World Cup squad.
I think a lot of parenting is we're doing it for her, but it's for me too. I mean, I'm really excited to see her, see Daddy out there. Yeah, you like the microphone?
Canada's first ever World Cup match on home soil is one of the most coveted sporting tickets in recent history.
Under 2,000.
Over.
Over under 2,500.
Over.
Over under 3,000.
Over.
Over under 4,000.
Under. But it's worth every penny and every mode of transportation it's taken to get to Toronto Stadium.
I drove my car to Etobicoke, my buddy's place, parked there, took an Uber to the GO station, and then half an hour on the GO station, so it wasn't too bad for me.
While some have inked their Canadian pride, others are wearing this country's national symbol. And then there are those who have love for both Canada and its World Cup opponent.
Motherland, homeland. Oh, I love you guys. You guys are like one of my favorite people in the world, so I love Canada.
What's clear is the World Cup in Toronto is about more than the score on the pitch.
Everyone was playing basketball, but now I'm seeing more people playing soccer. Even when I go to parks, I'm seeing the fields full of soccer players, and it actually just makes me smile.
An historic moment in Toronto for Canada on the world stage.
All right, Rahim Ladani reporting from Toronto Stadium. And you know, today is history in the making for Team Canada and the entire country. Whatever happens in this tournament, the first time playing a World Cup game on home soil and a first time hosting the world. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now with a look at why this World Cup is a real game changer for Canada.
Canada! Canada!
Brimming with national pride, nations united, allegiances divided. Fans have arrived by the thousands. These two fields full of dreams, separated by more than 4,000 kilometers, have the power to unite a people. A soccer awakening is afoot. The World Cup is here, and Canada has been thrust under the spotlight of the global game.
It is the biggest sport in the world. It's bigger than the Olympic Games.
The most coveted tournament on the planet has touched down in the true north strong and free. The significance is seismic.
To be present and to be in the moment.
Canadian Soccer Hall of Fame inductee Amy Walsh appeared in 2 Women's World Cups. She believes this is an opportunity for the entire country to put its best foot forward.
To show that Canada is diverse, not only in its people, and that it's unique and we're friendly and we're welcoming, but we're also tough and we're hard to play against.
Soccer is simply the most popular sport on the planet. The world is tuning in. Toronto is expecting at least 300,000 visitors to arrive from outside the city. More than 350,000 are expected to travel to Vancouver.
So many people visiting, traveling, and watching on the TV sets. They're going to see a brand new country that they just haven't seen before.
A tournament of this magnitude is already daring the country's youth to reach for the sky.
I hope Canada does well, so then that means the kids know that when we get on, we can do the exact same.
You've given your life to soccer. You played for Canada on 102 occasions. Results aside, what do you hope the takeaway is from this World Cup for Canada?
It's really about who we are and what our identity is as Canadians and how that's tied to sport. It's the trickle-down effect from it. So what it means for the next generations, that somebody else aspires to do that one day.
The beautiful game has landed. Canada has opened its door once again to the world. Soccer fans here and footy fanatics around the world have now set their sights on this tournament, including the 13 matches that will grace the pitch right here on Canadian soil. The hope is that the legacy will last a lifetime. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Waterloo Region's water problems mean this summer will come with a little bit less of a splash. Just ahead, some of the latest conservation efforts as the region continues to plan ways to find more water for the future.
Well, after a week of humidity, many are wondering if there will be some reprieve in the forecast. I'll have those details with your full forecast coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
Waterloo Region's water capacity trouble has been in sharp focus this year, but in Guelph, where they also rely on groundwater, they are also nearing the limit of what they can draw. As we hear from CTV's Jeff Pickle, though, the city is banking on taking action now to prevent more of a problem later.
Like the region of Waterloo, the city of Guelph is nearly entirely reliant on underground wells to keep water moving through the city.
The city of Guelph is one of Canada's largest communities that's based in groundwater. Groundwater in comparison to surface water is finite in nature.
But as the city continues to grow, it's reaching the limits it can currently access.
Within those numbers, specifically the 75 million liters of water per day that we can treat and provide to the public, within that we maintain what is a 15% allocation for water system resiliency.
Last year, the region of Waterloo was rocked by the announcement it is already over capacity. The situation so severe, a hold has been put on approvals for new developments.
We're not leaving any stone unturned, and all options are on the table, but they have to be safe, and we realize that we have to protect the quality of water.
In the city of Guelph, the situation is less critical and has no impact on development.
There have been no stops or holds. The city remains open for business at this time.
And the city says the water bottling plant in Aberfoyle is currently not an issue.
There's no impact at this time. However, respecting the environment and all water users that are around us, there would be potential in the future that the city were to take more water. It may impact upon the bottled water permit to take water plant.
Gallagher says the city's new policy will make sure water capacity keeps up with new development.
It does take a long time, establishing a new water source, especially in a groundwater environment, can start at 10 years as far as what's an initial feasibility study to an environmental assessment to what's, planning and construction of a new water source.
A plan to keep the water flowing as the city keeps growing. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Guelph.
Well, as for water conservation in Waterloo Region, it seems splash pads could be in focus this summer. The city of Waterloo will reduce hours at city splash pads by an hour in the morning. They'll be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. At Silver Lake Park, the misting feature at the tree sculpture that's in Waterloo Park will not be turned on in an effort to conserve water. Splash pads in the Tri-Cities only turn on when someone activates them, and many splash pads across the region use a recirculation system that filters water and helps with conservation. Families who've lost loved ones to the waters of Lake Huron are applauding a first of its kind. It's a beach safety warning system, and it was unveiled today in Kincardine. CTV's Scott Miller was there.
Canada's first traffic light beach safety system is finally operational at Kincardine's Station Beach. It's a real-time warning system that very well could have saved Graham Hancock's brother's life. Michael Hancock drowned 18 years ago in the waters off Kincardine's shores trying to save his daughter.
He managed to save her, but it got the better of him. So any initiative that can make the public safer and help improve the safety of the beach is a big deal for me and my family.
Aleem Ramji drowned in Kincardine in 2020, pulling his nieces from the waters of Lake Huron before succumbing himself. His family was at today's beach light unveiling.
Bystanders heard. They came, they were able to throw the buoy out to the girls. The girls were able to come back onto the pier she watched my nephew take his last breath.
In total, 6 people have drowned and 7 more have almost drowned off Kincardin's shore since 2008. In response, Kincardin has created no swim zones near their south pier and added safety equipment. The installation of Canada's first smart beach warning light today is really the centerpiece, though. It's a system that uses predictive modeling powered by both historical and real-time wind and wave strength data. It automatically changes traffic lights located at the entrance to Kincardin's beach to let beachgoers know if it's wise to enter the water or not.
It is a symbol that is used in every town and city across Canada and the world. Red, yellow, and green. Stop, warning, or you're good to go.
No manual intervention at all. There's no person that is changing the light from red to yellow to green. This is all going to be automated now. So being able to respond immediately as the weather changes, the light will change.
Kincardin's smart beach light is now fully operational, and other communities along the shoreline are investigating installing a similar beach warning system. Even some communities on the other side of Canada.
You know, with my council in Nova Scotia, this is what I'm promoting as well. Trying to, that if Kincardin can do this, we could do this at Peggy's Cove. We've lost a lot of lives at Peggy's Cove.
Along with the unveiling of the traffic light beach warning system, Kincardin unveiled 2 memorial benches to honor the 6 beach visitors who lost their lives in the town's waters since 2008.
People have drowned in Kincardin, lost their lives, and so a big part of what we're doing here today is to make sure that that never happens again. We don't want another family to have to leave here without a family member.
In Kincardin, Scott Miller, CTV News.
All right, a live look outside on this Friday evening, this breezy Friday evening, but a clear blue sky for the most part, as a lot of those clouds have moved on now, giving us a nice sunny day, and with that breeze, a much fresher outdoor feeling as well, cutting through some of that humidity. Alexandra Hollick is back with our forecast for the weekend in just a few minutes. Also coming up, the bizarre bridge battle, politicians demanding answers after the opening of an already finished bridge linking Detroit and Windsor was mysteriously delayed at the last minute this week. But next, the Prime Minister sits down with the President of France to talk about turbulent times, that is. That story coming up a little bit later. Alexandra Hollick is back in studio with us on weather duties tonight ahead of what looks to be at least the start of a nice weekend, if tonight's any indication.
That's right, Tony. The clear skies have come in and they're going to stick around at least for the next 24 hours or so. So if you're looking to get out there, maybe go to a patio, go to a pool, maybe a FIFA watch party, tomorrow's the day to do it.
We haven't had this discussion yet. I don't know where you stand on humidity, because every year, as our viewers know, I get into this period where I start whining about the humidity, and then when it gets cold, you know, we wish we had the warm days back.
That's absolutely fair. You know, I am not a fan of the muggy weather. My personal favorite temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. I know it's specific, but it is just perfect for me.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And then the nights can be around 13 or 14. I mean, if we could copy paste that all year, I'd be happy.
I am right there with you, Tony. And if you look outside, you can kind of see that humidity is definitely dying down with the help of a cool breeze. I believe the winds are coming in from the west, so definitely nice if you're looking to take a walk out this evening. The skies will be clear. You don't need to pack an umbrella or a rain jacket. Enjoy that walk. And taking a look at what we do have in store here, like I said, clear skies across the board for much of southwestern Ontario overnight tonight and into tomorrow. But taking a look at around 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, if you're starting your day maybe just a couple of hours later, you may want to pack an umbrella with you and maybe a rain jacket, because there will be some spotted showers throughout the day on Sunday, and that really continues around 11 o'clock in the morning Sunday. We may be seeing some rain here in Waterloo Region. So nice day on Saturday with that sun, but the rain will come in on Sunday. Taking a look across the country here, Vancouver, 22 degrees to start, and on the other side of the Rockies, Edmonton sitting at 16, Fort McMurray 18 degrees and mostly cloudy skies there. In the prairies, Saskatoon and Regina both sitting at 14 degrees and cloudy, 16 in Winnipeg, 6 in Thompson with some light rain that way. Moving into Ontario, our nation's capital, 27 degrees and mostly cloudy skies there, 25 sun hiding in the clouds in Windsor, 27 and sunny. And on the East Coast, a little bit of a different story there, 11 in Fredericton, and in Corner Brook and St. John's, it's sunny, but it is a little bit chillier, 5 degrees in St. John's. Taking a look at our current temperatures here in southwestern Ontario, like I said, 24 here in Waterloo Region, much of the same for London, Hamilton, even Peterborough as well. A little bit warmer as you get closer to Windsor and Sarnia. Mount Forest sitting at 21 degrees. As for what we can expect overnight tonight, we're dropping to a low of 14 degrees. But again, that cool breeze is coming in with westerly winds at 20 kilometers an hour. So definitely great for a walk out if you're walking the dog or just out for a stroll this evening. Tomorrow, though, high of 27 degrees is expected. Feeling a little bit hotter with that humidex. It does make a return, but there will be some westerly winds once again, 30 kilometers. I think gusts are going to be a little bit closer to 40 to 50, but they will die down as the day goes on, and clouds may roll in, and like we saw in our futurecast, there might be a little bit of rain on the way. Looking at our almanac today, high of 25, low of 14, definitely closer to what we're used to seeing this time of year around the spring, but definitely nowhere near any record-setting temperatures. Looking at our 7-day forecast, sunny and 27 to start off our weekend and some showers coming in on Sunday. But look at that, Tony, on Monday, definitely a cool down, not so much humidity there. Cool and comfortable start to our week. Same goes for Lambton, Kent, Essex, but a little bit hotter start on Saturday, 31, 22 on Monday, though. Again, those cooler temps are rolling in. Quickly, before we switch it over here, I just want to point out for southern Georgian Bay and that Wyerton area, there could be a thunderstorm risk on Saturday and some showers on Sunday. So be sure to be mindful and keep an umbrella handy. And let's go to our Weather Watcher picture now. It almost looks like a painting. This is a very picturesque sunrise sent in by Paul, taken Wednesday morning in that southern Georgian Bay area. And he says in his little note, the sun had to battle through the fog and the haze and some lingering storm clouds from the night before, but it was all worth it for this beautiful shot.
I will say that is a beautiful, beautiful Georgian Bay picture for sure. It's a very picturesque part of the province.
Absolutely. It really captures kind of that start of the summer and hopefully what we're going to see in the days ahead.
More to come, we hope. All right, and if you were outside maybe this afternoon, it was a good day to enjoy a watch party on a patio because there was a lot of that going on this afternoon. Of course, Team Canada making its debut at the World Cup today, the first game of the World Cup ever on home soil. Of course, it ended in a draw, so, you know, a little bit anticlimactic, but a lot of fun nonetheless.
Definitely. And I mean, that build-up even in our newsroom here when Canada scored that goal, I think it was in the 76th minute of the game. Lots of excitement here. Lots of Team Canada fans for sure.
Oh, you bet. And we're going to find CTV's Karis Mapp now, who's live on location in Uptown Waterloo, where one of those watch parties was happening at Hop House. Karis, you know, local businesses really getting in on this, whether it's themed products or watch parties. World Cup fever has hit Waterloo Region.
That's right, Tony. Definitely much quieter now, but the excitement was tangible here at the Hop House. And fans telling me they feel like they were watching history right before their eyes with the game being played so close to home just in Toronto. In fact, the buzz is building here, but also across the entire community in many different ways.
Go Canada!
Ahead of Canada's first game, the team at Red Eye Cafe and Donuts in Cambridge were serving up World Cup themed sweet treats.
It's really exciting, and it being held here is even more exciting. So we just wanted to get in on the fun and bring people together with donuts.
Making sure fans are covered no matter who they're cheering for.
We actually have Canada donuts available in the shop for purchase when we're playing. Canada is #1. A lot of Portugal, Brazil, Argentina.
This is one of many local businesses getting in on the hype. But when it was time for kickoff, fans flocked to watch parties all across Waterloo Region, including right here at the Hop House in Uptown Waterloo. pure excitement, no matter how familiar they are with the sport or even how long they've been fans.
I've been watching the World Cup all my life. I'm a big soccer fan. I actually have a soccer ball here. Been playing soccer all my life. Love Canada, pure Canadian, so really happy, really excited.
We're really patriotic recently, and even though I don't usually watch soccer, it's good to support our country, and it's nice to host it and get recognized on the world stage.
Support that's appreciated at this business, where staff say the game has been uniting the community.
We opened the door, we had a lineup waiting to get in, and it just shows you the community wants to be part of this, and we want them to be part of it as well, so it makes us very happy and proud to be from Waterloo.
It's so exciting. You know, I love the union of cultures across. We really want to go to Toronto and check out, you know, the village that they got going down there. But yeah, it's awesome to see a lot of people coming out and excited to watch the games.
I'm from Toronto, so it feels great to be in the surrounding area and seeing everyone else support, even though we're not nearby. It's awesome.
As for predictions, the home team getting the most support among these fans.
I think they'll get past this group. I don't know how far they'll go, but I hope they go far.
All the way, win it all the way.
They're going to win the whole thing.
Let's go!
When today's game ended in a draw, fans told me they were happy with how Canada played, and they're looking forward to cheering on the homes team next Thursday evening at one of the many watch parties planned around the region. Tony.
They are going to be good. Karis Mapp on the local World Cup watch, reporting live from Waterloo. Karis, thank you. Well, next, what's really holding up the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge? The new link all finished, but not being opened for vague reasons. Politicians on both sides of the Detroit River are demanding answers after the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge was delayed. There was supposed to be a grand opening today. CTV's Chris Campbell now on the uncertainty.
The Gordie Howe International Bridge may still be closed, but the relationship between Windsor and Detroit remains open.
It's about partnership. It's about a friendship between America and Canada.
The gathering at Rock Bottom Bar and Grill comes one day after Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall suggested a new agreement should give the United States and Michigan an immediate share of toll money and greater control over new bridge operations.
I'm hopeful that you'll see a deal that has more balance in the board makeup, that ensures that the United States and Michigan can get toll revenue right away, 50-50.
But Michigan State Senator Erica Geis says reopening that deal would be a mistake.
It would be a slap in the face to all the people, all the organizations who worked on bringing this project to fruition.
No official explanation has been provided for the latest delay. Even Geis, who chairs the Michigan Senate Transportation Committee, says she has little more information than the public.
I have the same information that everyone else in the general public has, which is very little. Anything that has been published is the information that we have.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins believes Canada should resist any pressure to alter the agreement simply to get the bridge open.
It's more than just a symbolic connection between two cities. It's also a strong economic connection. And the day the Gordie Howe Bridge opens, it will be the most technologically advanced border crossing between the United States and Canada. It will be the most friction-free border crossing, which is great news for all businesses in our regional economy.
Former Windsor West MP Brian Massey says every day the crossing sits idle costs taxpayers while delaying toll revenues needed to help pay for the multi-billion-dollar project.
If it is entirely political, then say it. If it's something different, then do it and fix it. But don't treat us like children.
Despite the uncertainty, leaders on both sides of the border insist the bridge's long-term importance hasn't changed.
Politics will be politics. There are cycles, there are people that will come and go in politics, but what we do as a community is come together, and we come together with our American neighbors to overcome those obstacles.
That was CTV's Chris Campbell reporting in Windsor. Well, Prime Minister Carney is overseas again. First, a crucial meeting with the President of France, and then the G7 summit next week in that country. Here's CTV's Mike Le Couture in Paris.
Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Emmanuel Macron were looking for areas of agreement ahead of the G7 summit in France. As Carney moves Canada closer to the European Union, the two leaders agreed to more collaboration on artificial intelligence and safe social media.
I would like to commend you, President Macron, for the decisive action that you are taking to protect children online.
And the two leaders agreed to do more on intelligence sharing. They're also both using strong language when describing the geopolitical instability.
Nous constatons que l'ordre international est fragmenté.
We note that the international world order is fragmented, says Macron, an echo of Carney's speech in Davos, where the Prime Minister called on middle powers to work together as the world's hegemonies become more aggressive. Now, Canadian officials who briefed reporters ahead of the G7 summit warned it could be difficult to get consensus on issues like a critical mineral value chain or government intervention against online harms.
The presence of Donald Trump is something that always leads to possible controversies. Will people get actual FaceTime, including our Prime Minister, with Donald Trump?
Now, Carney and Trump will have some FaceTime, but it's unclear if it'll be a full sit-down meeting. While getting a consensus could be difficult among the 7 leaders, Carney doesn't think the group is fracturing.
I mean, there'll be some issues where there are strongly held views by one of the G7 partners that, are more extreme than others. And I'm not saying just one. I mean, each of us may have examples of that.
In French, Prime Minister Carney was even more specific, saying he doesn't believe it'll turn into the G6 plus the U.S., a statement that could be tested at next week's Leaders Summit in the French Alps. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Paris.
Reflecting on the road to the World Cup. Just ahead, a special report on the unfolding of Canada's moment on the world's biggest sports stage. Canada's moment on the world's biggest sporting stage has finally arrived, but getting here was no easy feat. Years of work, enormous sums of money, and collaboration between 3 countries. CTV's Michelle Dubé has this special report.
Canada, Mexico and USA have been selected by the FIFA Congress to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
It was 8 years ago the united North American bid found the back of the net. Canada, the U.S. and Mexico scoring the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In the years that followed, Toronto making its case, hoping to earn a spot among the tournament's 16 host cities.
We are all in to bring the FIFA World Cup to Toronto.
Then, in 2022, Toronto was officially selected along with Vancouver. Our diverse, soccer-loving population, hotel capacity, transit, an international airport, and a track record of hosting major events, all working in Toronto's favor. Not to mention an existing stadium, BMO Field, but it would have to get a FIFA-required retrofit.
Amazing. No words. This is very exciting.
Like a soccer ball, the cost has bounced around. The original, very preliminary estimated cost for Toronto to host 3 to 5 matches was $30 to $45 million. That number rising over the better part of a decade, now sitting at $380 million, which includes funding from all 3 levels of government for 6 matches in the 6, while Vancouver netted 7 matches. A report last month from the Parliamentary Budget Officer estimates the cost for Canada as a whole to host 13 games is more than $1 billion. The estimated cost per game, $82 million. Whether it's worth it depends on who you ask. Supporters say the investment will pay off. The province of Ontario touting the exposure, tens of millions watching the matches hosted right here in Toronto, estimating $1.3 billion in economic activity, more than 8,700 jobs created, and 300,000 plus visitors to the city. At BMO Field, now Toronto Stadium, during the tournament, the additional 17,000 seats won't stay, but many of the upgrades, new video boards, improved lighting, audio, Wi-Fi, and enhanced fan and hospitality areas are legacy items that will benefit Toronto teams. There's also new state-of-the-art soccer infrastructure around the city and community programs.
It looks like a real professional soccer pitch, and it looks really cool.
A generation of young soccer fans and their families witnessing history in their own backyard.
CTV's Michelle Dubé reporting. And we'll have more in just a moment. First, let's check in at the weather wall once again with Alexandra.
Sunny skies on the horizon, but when is that humidity expected to kick in? I'll have those details with your wake-up weather forecast. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory and a night of crime, starting off with Spring Break Murders at 8, capping it off with Boston Blue at 10.
Well, we are back and talk about a summer-like weekend on tap and kicking things off nicely tonight.
Absolutely, Tony. Again, those clear skies coming through and sticking around to tomorrow, something that we've been missing, I feel like, this week.
Yeah.
Starting off tomorrow, 6 a.m., sunny, 16 degrees. And that humidity won't kick in until about 10, but it's sunny across the board up until we get into the evening hours. So if you're looking to get out to a garage sale, a patio, even just a nice day out, tomorrow's the day to do it.
Well, it kind of matches the feeling we've got here at the desk today, because this wasn't intentional, by the way, these color shades, but I think they kind of work. One of our colleagues just mentioned to us, we look like we're about to go to a wedding reception on a beach.
You know what?
I
love it. I'm all about it. I don't know if it's warm enough to swim this time of year necessarily, but a beautiful beach ceremony in the sun. Sign me up.
Yeah, gorgeous. Might be, I don't know, some of the smaller lakes might be warm enough to dip in yet, but I know a lot of pools will be opening this weekend. It'll be perfect for a pool party, or even just to splash around like these guys are doing. It's that feeling that we are really on the verge of summer now.
Yeah, we're just a week out from the summer solstice, the official start of summer, but it's already been feeling that muggy, that heat, that sun. And some things are welcome and some things maybe not so welcome for some folks.
That's right. Well, we'll get a little break from the humidity, which is nice for everybody, I think. In the meantime, thanks for checking in with us. We're going to be back here at 11:30 tonight after the CTV National News. Alexandra, have a great weekend.
Thanks so much, Tony. You too.
And to all of you, take care. Good night.